Hello everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my, what are we doing? Next in my, oh yeah, Getting Results in Business series. We're going to do our big end of the unit simulation, a realistic roleplay based on the situations that we've seen in the unit and the topics that we've covered and the vocabulary as well, all about services and systems. And in today's class, you have to convince someone of a service or system, convince your team to adopt it, or find a better service or system than you can currently. It currently is dealing with the problem that we're going to see. So we're going to get a background situation to read about. It's going to present a problem, and then together we're going to have a meeting to try to solve that problem with a new service or system. Sorry, a little bit confusing, but that's the plan. Before we begin, let me do a quick introduction. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you today from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. And by the way, as we're waiting for people to come in, don't forget, you can click on that link in the Verbling chat window. You can follow me to see all my upcoming group classes and know what's coming up for the next week. And you can also schedule a private tutoring session with me. I will create a personal learning plan for you to help you meet your goals. To do that, I'd be happy to do so. So, let's get started. I'm going to share the material with you on screen and say hello to everyone. And if you want to open this yourself, you don't need to, but if you want to, our notes are at that link. Let me say a quick hello before we start to Ms. Yulia. Hello, Yulia. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What about you?
I'm all right. Now, Yulia, you have a different picture than before.
Yeah, I had.
That's why I didn't recognize you.
Hi.
But now I know it's you because I recognize your voice. Excellent.
Oh.
You're usually here on Fridays.
Yes.
Okay. Same old Yulia. Now I know. And look who's with you there. It's Mr. Raphael. Hello, Raphael. How are you?
Hello. I'm pretty fine, thank you. Long time no see you.
Long time no see. Excellent. You're back. So here's the plan. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to scroll down really quick, just so you can get a quick idea of what we've been doing. You'll note I didn't do an update for yesterday's class, I don't think. Did I? No, I don't think I did. But that's okay. I'll go over it with you. The last class I have was Monday, but I'll tell you what we've done. So just take a quick look here. On Monday, we focused on presenting a new system. We learned to describe the system, to talk about, or I should describe the service, and to talk about the systems that are a part of it. For example, online banking is a service. It has several systems that are a part of it, like getting your account statements, making certain transactions. We have other systems, catering, for example, food services. There might be a different system inside of that general service that needs to be explained. What else? There's outsourcing that you might do for your company. So we began the week talking about those kind of words, and the words describe how we feel about it, whether there's benefits or drawbacks. Benefits to the new system or drawbacks to an old system. Okay, some of those keywords are on the board. So that's what we've been working on. You've got 3 homeworks here if you want to catch up. The last class was about grammar, specifically the grammar of comparisons. And that homework is here. Okay, so you can always catch up. You can correct yourself, and I'll be happy to answer any questions in the class. So that's what we've been doing in general. Now let's go to today's class specifically. I'm going to put our 4th presentation on the board. It's not the board. We're in a virtual classroom. It's the screen. You know what I mean. There we go. And in these case studies, It's the culmination of everything we've done in one class. If you haven't been here, no problem. Use it to test your knowledge of English. If you have been here, use it as a way to activate all of that vocabulary that you've been learning. Okay? So let's get started. We're going to read about a background situation at a company that's going to present a problem that we have to solve. First, I always like to begin with an opinion from someone out there in the field. And we can use this opinion to help us make a decision. So this is from Cora Lynn Heimler-Rathbone. She is the Program Director at the Center for Customized Executive Development at the Cranfield School of Management. These are all real people, by the way. And she gives us an expert view about changing a system or service. Raphael, can you take the first paragraph? Then right now it's just the two of you, three of you. So then, Yulia, you'll take the second. Go ahead, Raphael.
Could you enlarge it, please?
I don't know if I can. Hold on, I'll try.
The expert view. Why change? If a startup is dissatisfied with the current situation, and if there's a vision B for improvement and clear process B, then the cause of not changing C is more than the cause of changing D.
X is times. X means times.
Yeah.
So D times V.
D times V times B
is
bigger,
greater than
C.
There you go.
Change is resistive a dissatisfaction, vision, and or process that don't exist.
Yeah. So it's just creating a formula for us to think about. If dissatisfaction times multiplied or times by vision, multiplied by process, the change, or I'm sorry, the change is the result. If D times V times P is greater than the cost of the change, then is it worth changing or not? So that's the situation she wants us to think about. Okay? Oh my God, Anna Carolina, you keep changing your picture. I don't recognize you. First you were a cat, and then you were Hermione. And who are you now? Now you are.
Now it's me.
Is that you on a raft?
On my paddleboard.
What is it? Paddleboard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow, looks like an exotic picture. And so is that?
It's an island called Botinas. It is nearby my house. It is two islands side by side. The shore is rocky, but it's a great place to go snorkeling or wakeboarding or paddleboarding, you know.
There you go. I have a bathtub in my house. That's as close as I get.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's got water in it. So it's similar. It's similar to what you're doing here. It's very similar.
Yes, very similar.
Very good, very good. Okay, so what we're doing is getting a little bit of background before we deal with our case study. Well, we're going to problem solve and perhaps suggest a better service or system than a company who is in trouble is using now. So, Yulia, I think you were the next in line. Could you take the second part of our expert view, Yulia?
What change process? Try a typical four-stage process. First, answerness of the need for change. Second, interest in the process. Third, willingness to try the changes. And fourth, acceptance. Different stages need different tactics, but the platinum rule is do for other people what they would do for themselves.
Excellent, excellent. Now, first, I want you to just take a quick look at the pronunciation here.
Hmm?
See the word I wrote in the chat window, Julia?
1 second, I used Hangouts and it's difficult for me to see the chat window.
One second. Take a
Pros-
look here. See it now?
Yes, thank you. It's process.
No. Oh, okay. In British English, maybe process. Maybe that's why you're saying it. In American English, it's process. So you have to decide if you're going for American or British English.
Okay.
If it's American, it's an ah. So actually, I wrote process. You're absolutely right, but that was a mistake. I meant to write ah, process. Anyway, both pronunciations are fine. Now, let's say, let's say a quick hello to Mr. Ali. Long time no see, Ali. Nice to have you back.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's a long time not to see.
Welcome back. Now, we're getting an expert view from the field to help us problem solve, and we're going to be problem solving for a situation a company might face. Now, Rafael and Julia, what do you think about this advice before we go on? Does this advice make sense, or should we clarify it a little bit? It's all ways that we should think about change.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with the platinum rule, absolutely, that if you do something for others, it means that you want to take from others the same.
Or you expect from others the
Expect,
same.
yes.
Okay. All right. So, Raphael, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. And also, it's clarified a lot of how we need to change or when we need to change. And this kind of formula is a kind of ideal thought that clarified everything that you can do in the change when you are thinking in change. For me, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Except that you are forbidden to use the word interesting, Raphael.
Interesting.
You can't use that word anymore, remember? We outlawed the word interesting. What could you say instead of interesting? How about fascinating?
Fascinating. Perfect.
How about exciting?
Exciting, yes.
How about any word except interesting, because interesting, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's so overused. We got to use something else. I agree with you. It really helps us weigh up the factors that are involved. Weigh up means find a balance. Weigh up the factors. So the balance is between staff dissatisfaction, company vision, and how clear the process is. I guess the process here, process could be more than one thing, to be honest with you. It could be the process of change. It could be the process of evaluation. I think there could be more than one process, in my own opinion. And you weigh those up, and you balance that with the cost of changing. Cost could be money. Cost could be time. So I think there's more than one cost to factor in. But yes, Raphael, I agree with you. It really does help to clarify things. Let's use that formula ourselves. Let's get a hold of our main issue here. Okay, so let's read the background, and this is the situation that we're going to be problem solving for ourselves. Okay, so Anna Carolina, can you take the title and the first paragraph for us about our background problem?
All right. Traveling responsibility at Nike HQ. When Nike World headquarters relocated to a suburb outside Portland, Oregon in the USA, the management decided to save money by building fewer car parking spaces at the new site. At the time, 98% of Nike's employees drove alone to work, and there are too many cars for the number of parking spaces.
Okay. So this is the situation we're going to be dealing with in just a minute. Too many cars for the number of parking spaces. And there's other problems that might creep up as well. For example, there's time, there's money, and there's environmental problems as well. At the time this was written, environmental issues were there, but not nearly as important as they are today. It's just a little bit old. So, Mr. Jose, keep going for us.
Yes. Management soon released that
Wait,
they
realized?
they need to encourage fewer people to drive to work alone. They started an incentive-based program. Employees who shared car journeys, cycled to work, or used public transport received money toward their travel costs or vouchers that they could spend in the cafeterias at work and at Nike stores.
Okay,
It
just
was
one thing.
yes,
Just repeat these words. Realized,
realized,
shared car
shared,
journeys.
shared cars, journeys.
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 I want to hear a j. Journeys.
Okay, journeys.
I don't hear it. J.
J.
Good. Journeys.
Journeys.
Okay, it's not bad, not bad. So we've got this voucher program. If you share your ride. Okay.
You obtain a benefit.
Yeah, basically. You get a benefit or a perk if you do it. So that's what we mean by incentive. Something that makes you want to do something you might not want to do normally. Gives you a reason to do it. So continue, Mr. Ali, our last reader here.
Yeah. Could I start from it was popular or?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. It was popular program, but it was expensive and difficult to manage. They then introduced a new system called Track, a traveling responsibility. Accept the challenge. Track gave employees information about public transport, cycling routes, and car sharing, and offered monthly prices to employees. Employees.
Good.
The company also started to pay 72% 72% of the cost of bus and rail passes. The percent, yeah.
Keep going. Yes, it's short. One last.
Yeah. The percentage of employees driving alone to work is now 79%. However,
79? Uh-oh.
Yeah, 78. Yeah, 78. Yeah. However, the company would like to reduce this figure still further.
All right. Very good. Very good. So that's a situation. This is a real situation in a real company, and I just want you to think about that for a minute. So I've got 3 questions to help you digest what you just read. First, what are the advantages for not driving to work for the employees, for the company, for the local community? So this one is, it's more or less an opinion question, but the article also discussed some of this. Okay? So what are the advantages of not driving to work for the employees from what we read? Any one of you.
I think it could be cost effective.
Okay.
For the employee.
Cost effective. Sure.
Yes.
Because
the employees don't have to spend money
on what do we call that stuff you put in your car?
On park at the company.
Okay, on Parking, well, there aren't
On
enough spaces
parking.
for parking, actually. But yeah, on parking outside the company. What else? On, I heard someone else say it.
Yeah. I think when you get hard to find a parking to park your car, and actually it's like a time. It take more time to
Yeah, that's another
yeah.
thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, it take more time to find a parking, so it's like you can get late on your job, or when you can get your work on time, but you spend more time. Yeah, it's I think it's more harder to find a parking car.
Not more harder, just harder. It's
Yeah,
harder. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And also the money you spend on gas, petrol, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to spend it. Share the costs. What are the advantages of not driving to work for the company? How will the company benefit? Class.
The company doesn't have to build any any parking,
Any extra parking.
any extra parking,
Yeah. They have a parking lot, but it's small.
because there are more cars than places.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. So they don't have to increase the size of the parking lot, that would be a huge budgetary problem. Absolutely, I agree. Okay, and there's other reasons too. You can chime in if you have another reason. But let me go to the last point. What are the advantages of not driving to work for the local community? This one's not really in the article, but you can use your imagination here. What do you think?
I think we are contributing to be more clear in the atmosphere,
Yeah,
to prevent the greenhouse effect, and also the CO2 track is decreasing if you are using public transportation better than your own car. It could be another
yeah, and
advantage.
I agree completely. And we call that cutting down on emissions, like this, Rafael. We're cutting down on emissions by not using so many cars. Emissions is what comes out of the tailpipe, right? The emissions. What about this one? What could the company do to reduce the number of employees driving alone even further? Yulia and Anna Carolina, I want to hear from the two of you. You're awfully quiet. What do you think about this one? What could the company do to further reduce the number of people driving alone to work for the reasons we just mentioned? Any ideas?
It's about vouchers, no?
Well, I don't mean what they did do. I mean, what could they do in the future to cut it down even further? There's still too many people driving alone. It's inefficient, it's bad for the environment, it costs the employees money. So what further incentive, Yulia, what further incentive do you think the company could offer? If any, I don't know. Any ideas?
No.
Okay. What about you, Anna Carolina? Any ideas? My opinion is that they probably need to give another incentive, but it doesn't have to be. What do you think?
Mm, really, I don't know. Maybe a bonus in cash.
Why
Oh
not?
my gosh.
It's a
Yes.
kind of incentive, yeah. Maybe they could, let's take that idea for a second. A bonus in cash, or a bonus of any kind. They could calculate, here's an idea, they could calculate the amount of money that they're saving, and they could take a portion of that money and recycle it into a bonus, right? We call that vertical integration. Vertically integrate some of the savings back into an incentive problem or incentive solution. Okay? So in the chat window you see W, which means new word, vertical, or I should say vertically integrate. Okay, it's just an idea. There's no real right and wrong here. The company benefits by saving money on parking facilities and by being seen as environmentally friendly as well. If they do something like that, they'll be seen better in the community's eyes. Let me see. Well, here's another idea. What if they penalize people for driving alone? What do you think about that? What if the company says, we're not going to reward you, we're going to give you some kind of a penalty. You won't be allowed to do X, Y, or Z.
It doesn't sound nice in my opinion.
Why not?
No way. Because people are not living under a dictatorship, and no one would be satisfied working for a place like that. My gosh, they cannot do that, teacher.
But what if, for example, what if they say, okay, we're going to penalize you for a good reason. It's for the environment and for other things. But we're going to penalize you like this. You now have to pay for your parking space at work. For the parking lot is there, but you've got to pay for a space. So it's not to punish you, it's to offset the damage you're doing to the environment and the investment that we made. So it's not really a punishment. I don't know, it's just an idea. What do you think? Would you think people would be willing to do that? Because I would say, okay, I'm actually causing damage to the environment by driving. My company invested in this parking lot. Sure. If I want to have the privilege of parking next to the front door, I'm willing to pay for it. I think I'd agree to that. I don't know.
Well, in this case, it's not sounding as a restrictive measure or a prohibition. Prohibition. Sorry.
Yeah, the punishment was I shouldn't have said the word punishment. Maybe that's too strong a word. Yeah.
Yes, it's very strong. And in this case, I guess it would be okay, but I bet some employees would complain about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because, yes, they would say, no, the parking has to be free, because we are coming to work, and you have to give us it for free.
Yeah, like it's a perk of the job. I work here, the company takes care of me and should help me be comfortable. I could see the argument there, of course. Well, we're going to find out. These are the purpose of these questions is to get you to think about the situation in more than one way, different dimensions, because that's the problem we're going to be solving. Last question before we do our meeting together. By the way, let me just say a quick hello to Mr. B or Mr. BB. How are you?
I'm great.
Fantastic. Where are you from?
I'm from Vietnam.
Vietnam. Is it B or BB or Bai or Bai? How do I say your name?
B.
B. Hello, B.
Yes.
You've been here before, right? But a while ago.
Yes. I have been in Verpling for several months, but not regularly.
Right. I remember seeing you before, a long time ago. Well, welcome to class. We're doing a business class where we're going to be solving a problem and suggesting or convincing our superiors to adopt a new service, one that will somehow find a solution to the problem. And the problem we've been looking at is a parking problem that really happened with a real company in a real situation. So the company was Nike, and it was a problem at one of their HQ, one of their headquarters. By the way, last question here. a little bit of brainstorming, Mr. B. What alternative means of transportation, number 3, would you consider using to get to work? If you were told you can't drive because we want to have an environmentally friendly
Sorry,
organization, so look at
sorry. What the problem with the company?
the problem is there's too many cars and not enough spaces.
Uh-huh.
Not everyone can drive to work. An additional problem is it's bad for the environment to have so many cars.
Yes.
So what alternative means of transport would you use if you weren't allowed to drive?
I
You
think.
mean...
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry. It's your turn. Sorry, I don't.
You go first, B.
Oh, okay. I think we use bicycle
Wow. Do you think
or by
do you think
bus.
everyone would agree to that?
Not everyone, maybe, because many fat people, they wouldn't agree with that.
You're gonna get the fat person lobby to attack you. Watch out. Well, we can't really say fat, B, because it sounds too I don't know. It sounds a little too direct. We would say we have to say in a more euphemistic way. I don't know what the good word would be. But people who promote a
Who
healthy lifestyle, you've got to be a little bit less direct. So I'll give you an example. We might say people who promote a healthy
who promote?
lifestyle. Yeah, it's a euphemism for being thin. Euphemism. You know what I mean by euphemism? Have you heard that before? Do you know
No,
that word, euphemism? No?
I don't use that word before.
Okay. Euphemism just means saying something indirectly or
Yes.
very, very lightly. Usually it means avoiding a bad word. Whatever
Fat people
bad means.
is the bad word, right?
Yeah, you can't say it. It's
Oh,
too
I don't know.
direct. It's too direct.
Well, how do I change my idea,
Don't
the way I speak?
don't use the word fat. Anything but the word fat. So you could
Uh,
say thin people. We can't even say thin. We could say people who promote a healthy lifestyle. Okay, it's very euphemistic, but everyone will know what you mean. Those people would want to ride to work on a bike. People who are less inclined to exercise. So B, there's no right way to say it, but I would just say just be careful about saying things that sound very, very direct. That's all. Just be careful, okay? Uh,
okay.
so there's no formula for you, but some words are going to be best avoided. Raphael, you started to say something about an alternative means of transportation. Am I right? I think we cut you off.
Yeah, I think on the line we said before, trying to use cycling or electrical cyclers,
Ah,
electrical cycling could be another option, and also trying to improve, develop contact between employees, trying to share the car, as the article said at the beginning, trying to improve the sharing of the cars in commuters could be another system.
absolutely. Why don't we do something that doesn't cost any money, which is share information? Who lives in this part of town? Who lives outside of town?
Yeah.
Yeah, get those people to talk to each other, and then the sharing will just happen. By the way, we can also call that carpooling, like this. New word, carpooling. So we can do some carpooling with people who live in the same area. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't cost anything.
Can
So,
I?
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I want to tell that, like you, because you can use you can use bicycle to get to work, because in my country, in Ukraine, we haven't any spaces for cycling. So in my country, people get to work by underground, because it don't matter where you will be used, like buses or trams, you will be stuck in traffic jam. So the quickest transport in my country,
Hmm.
it's underground. It's a big problem with car spaces, and we haven't any cycling spaces.
Hmm. Not,
So
not spaces, but we call them lanes.
links, yeah,
There are no bike lanes.
lane, yes.
By the way, be careful. Not I want to tell, but I want to say, Yulia.
Hmm.
I want to say.
I want to say,
Because if
I
you say
want.
tell, you always have to say a person. I want to tell you. I want
Uh-huh.
to tell me. I want to tell my mother. You always got to say a person with tell.
Uh-huh.
Say something. Tell someone, say something.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you.
So, absolutely, maybe we could create an incentive to get people to use public transportation because it's there. Why not pay for the transit pass? It might save a lot more money if people take public transportation and we pay a little bit for the transit pass. That might save a lot of more money than having to build a new parking garage or something. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let's have our meeting. Here goes. It says work with a partner. We in this class we are the partners. So we, not you both, we work for a large manufacturing company. The commuting situation at our company needs to improve. Read this information. Anna Carolina, could you read the first point for us, please?
Sure. Your company employs 30% more people than it did 2 years ago. As a result, there are too few parking spaces and it's unable to get more space for employees' cars.
Excellent. So it's basically the same as what happened with Nike, except our company has grown in staff. So that's an added difficulty that we're going to have to face. Mr. Ali, read the second point for us, please.
Yeah. Traffic in the area is getting worse, and employees traveling by car are often stuck in traffic jam and arrive at work late, feeling very stressed.
Ah, that sounds like what you were saying, Julia. So the same situation. Everyone's stuck. And then they get to work and they're stressed out because the boss is angry, right?
Of course, right, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So we're going to hold a meeting and we'll take turns to report some recent relevant data. I'm going to maybe divide you in half and give you a chance to work on this table. So we're going to imitate the kind of meeting you would have at work. First, we need to get the data out there. What's actually going on? So half of you, maybe I can just divide it half and half. Maybe we can have Ali and Anna Carolina and Mr. B. You can take the role of student A. And you're going to each report on one fact from this table. Student B, we're going to have Mr. Jose and Rafael and Yulia. You're going to report back on this table. Okay, so that's on slides 6 and 7. And afterwards, once we know what's going on, we're going to make a list of ways to improve the situation and suggestion of alternative ways for people to get to work. And we're going to do this as a group. So these next 2 points, the basic idea is we're going to have our meeting after that where we problem solve. Okay? I'll be helping you out with some of the key language that you should be using. What I want you to do now is, in your groups, it probably would be best if you open this directly in your computer probably would be best because I can't put everything on screen at the same time. Okay, so if you want to open it, click on that link. If you don't see the link, I'll put it in the internal chat. Okay, Ali, Anna Carolina, and B, you focus on slide 6. Jose, Rafael, Julia, you focus on slide 7. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you about 30
Okay.
seconds to study the slide. 30 seconds. Read it. If there's any questions, just ask. While you're doing that, I'm going to open something to help you with the vocabulary in the background because I want you to see some things we've learned before. Okay. Did everyone study their slide? Yeah?
Yes.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I kick off?
Please do. Anna Carolina, if you were going to run this meeting, what's the first thing you would say just to get started before you present your information? Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. I set up this meeting to talk about the ballpark figures uh, related to transportation in our company, and to bring up some problems that we've been facing.
Good.
And I'd like to give you the floor, and maybe we can together brainstorm some solutions.
Very good. Excellent. One thing, instead of saying related to, just say for. The ballpark figures for the problem rather than related to.
All right, thank you.
It's a little bit faster.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So let's everyone report back on one fact. We've got basically 3 per slide, and we've got exactly 1 per person. Okay, and you've got an example up there on the top. Anna Carolina, what's the first thing we ought to know about this transport situation?
Oh, well, as you can see, according to the report, to the table. Thank you. As you can see, according to the table, the number of staff using public transportation is a great deal lower lower than in the last year. It's decreased about 23%, and in my eyes, it's a big deal because we don't have enough space in our parking lot, and well, as 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 higher ups, we should do something for the environment, you know. We
Okay.
cannot.
That's a good start. Let me just make a quick comment. First of all, I really like the way you say it's a great deal. It's a great deal lower than before, and I want you to think about the language of talking about numbers. Okay. Also, it's good because it sounds good. I'm going to give you a little chart in a second to give you some other suggestions. You could say it decreased by, because it's a rate. It decreased by, or it's a percentage. Okay, so don't forget that key preposition. It decreased by about
Okay,
20% or whatever it is. Excellent.
thank you. But teacher, I just said it, that phrase because I was reading. Okay.
You read very well. however you get it, doesn't matter to me as long as you say it right, and you did. I'm going to give you a little chart as well. I want you to think about the language of percentages and rates. I'm going to Google for it because I don't have it in front of me, but I'll put it on the screen in just a second. Okay? Okay, so let's get someone from Team B. Okay? Yulia, maybe you can start us off? What do you think?
About my graph, yes.
But your graph on page 7, yeah.
Student B, yes.
That's right. Give us one important thing we ought to know.
Okay. The first thing you notice looking at this table is that the staff arriving late increased nearly twice time. And I think we need to do something with it as we position ourselves as a manufacturing company. I think the best way to deal with it is to build more parking spaces, because our staff searching parking spaces not in the manufacturing company but nearly in some areas. So that's why it took more time to get to work in time.
Okay, very good. By the way, I want to just put this on screen for you because I think it's a really good reference. It's for the IELTS test. Okay, there's a link to it. But it's a really good reference to do what both of you just did. To talk about the degree. Like it's a great deal lower, as Anna Carolina said. You could also say it's considerably lower than last year, but not that low enough. Or it has increased substantially. Okay, so I'll keep that on the screen to help you talk about your slide. Okay, very good.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going. I want to give everyone a chance to talk about one thing. We're back to group Team A. Mr. Ali, can you add something from your student A slide? What else do we need to know?
Yeah, as Carolina mentioned before, it's like it's like the percentage of staff sharing car to work. It's like it's going to decrease, or it's decrease this year. But however, it's like a decrease from.
Decreased how?
Decrease from 59 to 36. However, the percentage of staff sharing car is going to increase according to what happened before, from 11 to 23%.
So I want you to add a how, Ali. Decreased how? Sharply, rapidly, slowly, moderately? What would you say?
Yeah, I think it's like it's like decreasing. I don't know, but it's like substantially.
Substantially. Very good. So that means kind of a big decrease. Excellent.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you have other verbs you could use according to this chart. You could say decrease, but you could say drop, you could say fall, you could say decline. And as you go down, it's a greater and greater drop. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll leave that on the screen for you. Okay, so far so good. What do you think, Raphael? Can you add something from student B's slide? What else would you say is important for us to know?
Also, we are perceiving, or
We are seeing, maybe?
we are seeing that there is a rapidly increase of the staff doing flexi time. For this reason, we need to find out a new solution to the parking lots and parking space, because there are many people that they are arriving late, as Mehmet said before. We need to develop new tools to try to make a solution, find a solution.
Find a solution. I would just fix one thing about rapidly. It's an adverb, so you'd have to say it has increased rapidly, or there has been a rapid increase. If it comes before, it's an adjective, so you say rapid. If it comes after, it's an adverb, and you say rapidly. So there's a rapid increase, or it has increased rapidly. Okay, does that make sense, Raphael?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
Yeah? Okay.
Can I ask
Good.
something?
You may.
Could you tell me, please? I can say like, or I can tell like, increased nearly twice.
Increased, well, we would say doubled. It nearly doubled.
But if it increased twice times, like 50, and in 1 year it will be 100.
So it doubled.
Say, so it doubled, yes?
Yeah.
And it won't be a mistake if I write like such way. Increased, or just only doubled, or increased doubly, or how?
I guess you could say it in more than one way. So it doubled, or it's increased by X percent, increased by 100%. I suppose. Hold on a second. I'm gonna write that. It increased by 100%. I don't know. But if it's 2 times, we tend to say doubled. If it's 3 times, we tend to say tripled, because it's clear. It's a simple word. So I'd probably go with that. Okay. We got time for maybe 2 more comments, and then we need to make a decision. Let's go back to Team A from Mr. B. Team A from Mr. B. Let's go back to Student A. You got one more thing to present. Tell us what else we need to know, Mr. B. Mr. B? Hello, B? Hello, B?
Yes,
there we go.
What am I supposed to do?
Uh-oh! So, you've got to present the information in the table that was not presented by Ali or Anna Carolina. Okay, so I think Anna Carolina talked about people using public transport, and Ali talked about car sharing. That means you're talking about cycling.
Okay, I could say the number of staff sharing a car to work is doubled.
Has doubled. Has more than doubled. Yeah. Has more than doubled. Exactly.
Over double is okay.
Say again, please.
Over double.
Not over doubled. No, can't say it like that. But it has more than doubled since.
It has more than double.
Since when?
Since last year.
Fantastic. Instead of saying increased or doubled, you could say it also grew. How did it grow? Slowly? No. How did it grow?
Not gradually. It's considerably.
Considerably is good. It did.
Rapidly.
Yeah, or rapidly. It grew considerably since last year. It grew. It has grown, or it has jumped rapidly. Let's use jump, because that really means a big change. It has jumped rapidly. since
Okay.
last year. Excellent. And we're back to Team B with Mr. Jose. Last point.
Yes. The number of staff enabled to find alternative parking within walking distance of the company this year is marginally lower than the last year. This year is around 44%, and the last year was around 43%. We'll try to give a solution in order to how to get to work more easily, and the employees don't have any problem about to find
About
a,
finding?
to find
No, not to find. About finding?
about
Problem
the
about
find
finding?
about finding a place of parking or alternative for parking.
Okay, good. So what you're saying is it has stayed constant, or more or
Okay.
less constant, since last year. Look at the bottom right. It has
Yes.
stayed constant. Yeah?
Stay.
It's an alternative. You could say it has stayed or remained constant because it
Okay.
was 43 and now it's 44. All
Okay.
right, very good. So, not class, we're in a meeting, group.
Group.
Esteemed colleagues, now that we know some of the difficulties that we're facing and some of the hard figures, numbers between this year and last year, we really need to make a decision as a group about what we can do. For example, it's appalling that the number of people arriving late has jumped so sharply. It's great that here, number one, in the first row, it's great that the number of people using public transportation has dropped pretty significantly from 59% to 36%. That's great. But the other problem is that now everyone is arriving late at work, and that's appalling. I mean, so much of the people are arriving late. Oh, it can't happen. So we've really got to figure a solution. What solutions are on the table? We're actually at the end of the hour. We can continue this tomorrow. But I'm just curious. What is the first thing that comes to your mind before we end the class today? What do you think is the first thing that comes to your mind that might solve our parking and transportation problem? Do we incentivize people? Do we give up? What do we do?
You have to give to the employee some pick or some
perk.
some perk or some incentive
Yeah.
for using the public transport or use the cycling or.
Yeah, and we also have to deal with the consequences of that, because as public transportation rose steadily, lateness rose even faster. So it's a good idea. Hello? Oh, my computer seems to be frozen. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Sorry.
yes.
Okay, good. Well, hold on to that thought. Let's finish this meeting in the beginning of class tomorrow. I hope all of you can come back, and we'll finish it. And I've also got a great article that will help you expand your vocabulary about this exact problem. So we'll do a little bit of reading as well. My voice is going.
Okay.
Okay.
Try those 3 homeworks in the notes if you want to get a little extra practice. Bring your questions to me, and I'll help you understand them if you have any questions as well.
Okay, could you
So-
send the homework through the message?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll send it again. Okay. Bye
All
for
right,
now.
I will try to do this time. Bye.
No problem.
To tomorrow.
Bye for now, everyone.
Tomorrow.
Bye bye, John. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
See you soon.